waves roar like the voice of lions. My heart will not fail in fear. In fear, in the midst of the storm, withers like plants with no.
Teaching poetry is a beautiful experience. And the most beautiful experience about teaching poetry to me is a gift that I have innately, which is kids, working with kids. I love working with kids, period. If we playing, if we doing sports activity, if we're talking about their physical state, their mental state, if we're talking about finances, I love working with kids. And they love me. When I was on tour, we was on tour with the poetry, and when we would go to these schools, it'd be other poets. But I found that they just resonated with me, and they kept directing their questions towards me. And the producer was like, hey, there's other casts, you can talk to them. But it was just connecting with what I love, all right? And so teaching them poetry is fun, and to see them use that as an escape with the new culture, with the new climate, that has put a screeching stop to obviously me going into the schools and doing it physically. We set up something where it's now going to be virtual, so I'm going to be performing for the kids virtually, teaching them the 12 different forms of poems that we teach from the virtual on the camera, and then having them go out and experience it themselves. I really rather going in person and teaching them and talking to them about the poetry and Shakespeare and this one and that one, Langston Hughes and them in person, Maya Angelou and them in person, because something about what comes from the heart goes to the heart, and on virtually that can be distorted. Raising kids and two boys at that, two other black figures, black males, at times it put my art on a pause, respectfully, as it should, raising two African-American male, Afro-Caribbean male in America. You have to be strategic, you have to think about your moves, and you have to be very careful. The influence of society is teaching kids, is removing like common sense, so home training and things of that nature, teaching them how to do, what to do, when to do. As the light shines in the dark tunnel with a newfound hope, I press forward eagerly, numb to the pain that took residence on my yearning soul, as well as my coronary vessels. These levels of life, not for one second I thought would be this difficult. Unthoughtful decisions, misguided visions. Young men see and old men, they what? Dreaming. But though the winds be tempestuous and the waves roar like the voice of them beasts, my heart will not fail. It's D. Brown and fear in the attempt to climb the fence of my drive in the midst of the storm, withers like plants with no roots. Question what then shall stop this bold faith on the path to the light. Answer, visible or invisible, living or non-living, nothing shall stop me from my destiny. My name is D. Brown Poetry, and I'm selling words at an affordable price.